Yeah, man. Once you a felon, so I'm gonna say this again. Once you a felon, that shit get hard. Like, once you become a felon, it's hard for you to get a job. Of course, you know that. So you gotta kind of tend to be an entrepreneur, but other things kick in also. Like the better that you want to live, if you want to live in a gated community, they run your background. If you want to live in certain areas in certain cities and stuff like that, they most definitely run your background and stuff like that. So, you know, I think when I was growing up, I never had nobody that was right there with me and explaining to me like the consequences of having a felon. And everybody says that you can get it easily expunged. Yes, you can get them expunged, but they also still show up on your background check if you're trying to go and get something that deals with federal or anything like that. And homeowners association most definitely run your background because they want to see who's moving into your neighborhood. So, like, having a felon can be very tough. Now you can work around having a felon. I'm pretty sure that it's a million people that's living in this world in this world nowadays that has felony, that has succeeded and has benefited from changing over and things like that. So I'm not saying that just because you're a felon, but what I am saying is once you are a felon, it's a lot of hurdles and it's a lot of obstacles that you do got to go through that if you wasn't a felon. And it's a lot of people that's felon. So this is why I'm saying this, because the more traction or the more motion or the more money that you get, most definitely you can still handle your business, but it's going to be hurdles. It's going to be a lot of different things, even when you trying to get your passport to go out of town or international or whatnot like that. So I always try to iterate to my son, and to my nephews is that you got to want to, get your mind right now because you're 17 and you guys are at an age where you got the whole world in front of you. And a felon can't stop you, but it can slow you down. And you know, at times, being a felon can hinder and hurt you because they can bring it up and they can ask you about certain situations and stuff like that. And some people are, have their own right to say, you know what, I don't even want him living over here. I don't even want him over here or nothing like that. Like we can't open up our own bank. You can't open up your own law firm. So it's so many things that you can't do as having a felony. Now you can go and get your own business license still, and you can succeed like that. It's even some grants that won't give felons because you either are drug offenses and stuff like that. So it's certain times that you don't want to be a felon, especially driving DUI. That's a felony, and you don't want to you'll lose your license. So what about if you have a transportation business, mobile detailing, car wash business, or something that got something to do with transportation, and you lose your license for a year, 2 years, or whatnot like that. So you got to kind of be mindful at times on where you're going in life and what you want to do, because now, like I said, having a felon on your record, it can't hurt you, but it can hinder you and it can kind of stop you from going to that next level. A lot of people always say, but you can get this expunged, you can get this expunged. That's true, you can get it expunged, but it will still show on your background if your background check is something that got something to do with federal or the government and stuff like that. And of course, if you're going to go get a warehouse job, it doesn't probably pop back up. But if you've been convicted of it, and but if you've been convicted of, I want to say if you've been wrongly convicted, most definitely it'll get expunged. But if you haven't been wrongly convicted and you really convicted and you took a plea deal out of it, I don't know how that works, but I do know this. Talk to your kids, talk to your friends, let them know so much is ahead of you, like so much is in front of you, where a felon, it won't hurt you, but it most definitely can slow you down. So once you become a felon, man, a lot of shit changes. So talk to your people who not haven't got in trouble yet, who going down that wrong road. You know, you want to be able to talk to them and grab them now so they won't have to go through the same bullshit that you went through. Because I know I went through a lot of shit. And I explained to everybody that listened to me, I'd be like, yo, stop. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself together, because as of right now, you still have the golden ticket. You have an opportunity to not go through these hurdles. You have an opportunity to not go through these obstacles. So, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I really crave on when I get to talk to the youth, or I get to talk to anybody that you know hasn't gotten in trouble yet, but is going down that road, because you can see it. You know what I'm saying? I went down that road. So you most definitely can identify, you know, someone who's going down that road. But once you identify it and you can grab that person along, and you can show that person different resources, and you can just put the game on them and let them know shit ain't sweet how you think it is. So, you know, once you become a felon, it's a lot of shit that you got to go through. So try not to become a damn felon, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say, man. For real. Like the way he said.